Tanks, it's matchups within the matchup. So we know the Boston Bruins, Jordan Binnington's going to have his hands full with that top line of Boston, but they can take over a game at any point. We've seen it happen before. How do you match that up?
Well, it's going to be interesting because obviously having the luxury of having home ice for Bruce Cassidy is going to give him the opportunity to kind of match up the lines that he wants to against the line of the St. Louis Blues. So I expect the Bergeron, Marchand, Pasternak line to be matched up against the Schenn, Tarasenko, and Schwartz line in the first round of the playoff. You think of the 12 goals of Schwartz. You think of Tarasenko now on a 6-game point streak for the St. Louis Blues. I expect the best defensive unit on the Boston Bruins to play against them. Not only can they defend, but they can also play offense at the other end and make you play the tough minutes in your end. When you look at the Krejci line, I think that what Bruce Cassidy is going to try to do with the Krejci line, with Backus and the Brus, he's going to try to have it match up against the O'Reilly line. Two smart thinker of the game, two guys that play the game 200 feet. And then on the side, they've got some of the bruiser. You've got Backus, Sami Blais. I'm sure that they'll introduce themselves to each other at some point in this series. David Perron, he's got that knack to goal scoring. He can hang on to the puck in tight areas. I like that matchup. I think that's what Cassidy's going to try to do. Now with the Coy line, you know, they've been outstanding in the playoff. You think of what they did early in the series against Carolina, guys. I think that Oskar Sundqvist and that fourth line of the St. Louis Blues, so-called fourth line, has been playing hefty minutes. They've played very big minutes. They've been heavy. They've been big. I think that with Barbashev and Steen, they're going to play against the Coy line. And then as far as the fourth line is concerned, that might be the X factor for me, you know, for the St. Louis Blues, because you've got a young guy by the name of Robert Thomas. He was outstanding in the series against Dallas in Game 7. He was outstanding late to close the series against St. Louis. And playing the 12, 13, 14 minutes with Tyler Bozak, who's extremely experienced, Patrick Maroon, who's that big body that can hang on to the puck in the corner, I think that perhaps they have a favorable matchup there if I'm Craig Berube.
Yeah, I mean, that fourth line has been great for them, for the St. Louis Blues. Robert Thomas, we were talking earlier in the show about drafting. You know what? The St. Louis Blues got to go up to Keith Tkachuk and give him a lot of love, because Keith Tkachuk is the one that identified him, because Robert Thomas played in London with his son, and he's also living with the Tkachuk family right now in St. Louis.